So the ultimate goal of our practice is really to keep our energy moving unimpeded through the body. And we know that each season that we focus on a particular meridian system. So in the spring, we know it's liver and gallbladder. And we kind of do a daily check. How does my body feel? What's my energy level? What's my mind's mood? So we kind of, and it fluctuates, based on what's going on, around us, within us, so that will tend to fluctuate. And in the perfect world, a healthy liver energy, that energy moves, as we know, from the big toes, up the feet, up the inner legs, in the inner groin. It's going to end right at that liver 14. And in that perfect world, emotionally, we would feel empowered, we would feel engaged. And we see it in nature now. Some of us do, at least we are here in Arizona. We see it in nature because our plants and trees are budding and flowering already. So the sap, that life force, it would be the tree's chi per se. That sap begins to rise up and it moves out to the branches and to the leaves. So we start to see that. So that's naturally happening and occurring, or will be occurring, as you go later into the spring season. We know that the emotion is anger, and it's associated, we know, with the wood element, and we might feel little tinges, especially now in the spring season. And when we're stuck in our homes, and when we're not able to move about, and when we can't harmonize with the season, we're no longer empowered. We're no longer engaged. And this, as what you might be feeling, can lead to anger. And if you know that our emotions kind of go through a distillery, and if you remember, and maybe you don't, but I took a class in high school, it was called On Death and Dying. Great teacher I had, but we read Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's book On Death and Dying. And you may know that there's 5 stages of grief. And our first one is denial. I think we've all been in denial with what's going on. And then there's anger. And we might have been, past the denial, we're already in that anger stage. And then there's the bargaining. And then there's a depression. And then there's finally the acceptance. So those are the 5 stages. So again, that distillery of emotions. So if our anger is left unmanaged, it could lead to a depression. And oftentimes when that energy is blocked, when that liver energy is blocked, it gets stuck at liver 14. Liver 14 is also called, which I love the name, is Gate of Hope. So when I went through all of my things, that's exactly what I want to do. I probably won't get to everything today based on just our time schedule with our videotaping schedule. So I'll do as much as I can today, give you some things to do. Even if we don't do it together, I'll give you some things to do as far as protocols to kind of help us through. So if that energy is blocked, if it's stuck right there at liver 14, sometimes we can feel a constriction in the diaphragm. There might be some tenderness and pain in this area, or the chest can just kind of feel full. So you can feel like this fullness in your chest. On an emotional level, we can feel it as like a hopelessness. We could feel like a difficulty to see forward. And there's almost like what's the point? Or kind of a blah, a down and blue kind of feeling is what we may be feeling. And right now we might be feeling that, ourselves, and then we're feeling it as a collective as we kind of go through these uncertain times. So by opening liver 14, the Gate of Hope, I'm going to read this because I don't want to mess it up, because I found it, as I was going through a lot of my stuff. By opening Gate of Hope, liver 14, it allows us to see the limitless possibilities. It expands our horizon so we can see that light at the end of the tunnel, provides the support to meet the challenges of the world with direction and purpose. And so for a lot of us, we're just like, and we might be feeling a lot of that there. So what I'd like us to do is let's open this up. Let's open this up. So you can do it with acupuncture if you have an acupuncturist, if you can actually see your acupuncturist right now, or we can do it through acupressure. So to find liver 14, because they'll say, this is what they usually say, the point is located in the 6th intercostal space, 4 kun lateral to the midline. Okay, so kun we know is usually the width of a finger, and you have to do all this stuff. But an easy way to find it, so finding your xiphoid process, so you have your sternum and you have that little cartilage tip at the sternum. So you find kind of where it all ends up. So that xiphoid process, you'll feel it. And then using your fingertips, you move. So you have the nipple line, you move out. Now you're not right on the rib, you're kind of right in between. And when I press, I'm going to press it with my thumb and hold it. So not a press and release, not a circle, just press. And I would say for like 2 or 3 minutes. I'm trying to see if I can see the clock. So just take a deep full breath in, sit up nice and tall, find that space. On the exhale, press. Continue that steady pressure, not too much, but a steady pressure of the thumbs. Continue to breathe so you're not holding the breath. Don't worry about any type of pranayama, but just press and hold. And that was a full minute. So inhale. On the exhale, just release the pressure. Just float those hands down. Now again, you can do it up to 2 minutes, 3. You can use a little timer so you're not having to look at the clock like I just did. So it's just kind of nice not to have to think about something. Or you can do it for a length of a song. Also, in what I had pulled up, they said if it really, really feels stuck in, you might not feel a release all like right away, but you might be able to do it throughout the day. But if it feels like you still have that restricted feeling, there's still that pain and tenderness. If you still have those emotional, emotional feelings, continue to do this. But you can also use it in conjunction with lung 1. So as we go through meridian breathing, if we do all of it, we know from 1 to 3 a.m. is liver, from 3 to 5 is lungs. So we go, if it moves through the system, ends at liver 14, it's going to jump to lung 1, go down the arm. So it's going to move through that system on that 2-hour cycle. So you can use it. Now we'll have to do it bilaterally because I only have 2 hands. I can press, I can find, again, my thumb. Xiphoid process, go straight, nipple line, find it right in there. I'm going to use just my right thumb here. I'm going to use my fingertips, find lung 1, right down from the clavicle, right inside that shoulder. And I could do the same thing. I just press with that steady pressure, not too hard, but just enough pressure. And you can do the same thing. Inhale, exhale, hold the pressure, keep breathing for, again, another minute. We're not going to do a full minute just based on our time. And then just release. And then just take your time. You're going to do it on the other side too. You can do bilaterally, so you'll do that as well. Take a few breaths underneath, in between. And then another thing that we can do is we can do it with a bolster. I'm going to continue to sit on my blanket. I'm going to sit back a little bit. And I'm going to prop up my bolster with 1. You can also do 2 blocks, but I'm just going to do 1 block. And then magically I found, these are 2 little balls. They're actually dog balls, the dog toys. And I'm going to find them right there, my liver 14. I'm going to come forward and I'm just going to release into a restorative position. So again, it's a symmetrical. You're using both sides, relax the feet. If you can't come down enough, you're going to take that extra block, come up a little bit higher. You're going to place them on the spot, so again, not here and come towards it, just place them on that liver 14, hold them in place. Now the bolster holds them in place. The weight of your body is the pressure, and I'm just relaxing. And then I make sure you turn your head in either direction. So that's another fun one to do. And if you remember, we do our healing sounds. So now we do our healing sound shh. In the early summer, we'll do ha. In the late summer, ho. In autumn, hiss. In the winter, chew. So there's like a lot of emotions that we're feeling right now. Worry, fear, shock initially, anger, fear. Did I miss some? Shock. We'll go through. But we're gonna have all of those emotions that we're dealing with. So it's not just anger. So we do our healing sounds kind of like a flow, and then our 6 chi, we call upon it. We call upon heaven just to kind of regulate all 5. We generally begin with lungs. So we begin with grief. That's the one I forgot earlier. So little L's, inhale. And you just begin by hiss. Your palms facing out in your low back. Inhale. Little bend in the knee, flat back. Press the feet to rise. Liver, anger. Shock. Hand on heart. One hand over the other. Worry. Press the feet to rise. Inhale. Regulate all 5. Again, inhale. Hiss. For grief, hands on the low back, palms face out. Fear. Press the feet to rise. Anger, hand on liver. Hand on heart, shock. Back to center. Hands one on top of the other, stomach, worry, and then we regulate all 5, 6 chi, pull down the heavens. Again, you can do that as many times as you need, or as needed, or throughout the day. If you're somewhere where you can't do the actual movement, but you can do the sound, it's just a silent one. It's just in your head. It can be done as a whisper. That would be more on the chi level. Shun level would be the no sound at all. The jing level, shi, chu, ha. So you can use more of a voice. You can use more of that vibration. So jing, chi, or shun level on all 5, or actually the 6 healing sounds.